when you guys sat down to do that interview, I feel like that's a pretty good jumping off point. What was that? What was that like? Did it feel like a marker of like, oh shit, this is happening kind of thing?
No, signing the lease felt like the biggest marker because obviously you're financially committed for an X amount of time.
Right.
But no, it did feel like a marker from in terms of like, this is real for other people now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like really real for me happened when it was going down there and like trying to find a place and opening up our financials for landlords and stuff like that. That as a business owner, I feel like feels real.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're announcing it to the public, now it's real for a lot of other people that felt like this was an Idaho brand and it needed to stay here are going to have a problem with it, I think, in some ways. And people that are forward thinking are going to be really excited about it. There's just so many different elements of people's emotions that it's going to pull on. And it's just where that goes is always a little bit frightening, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you were thinking about where you're going to put it, how much did outward opinions weigh in for you?
For where we're going to put it?
Yeah. From where?
Not at all, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, to say I don't give a fuck about what people think is poor because I do care a lot about what people think, but perception where we put it, I didn't care.
Gotcha.
Because we talked about Texas, we talked about California, we talked about Arizona. We looked at stuff from what the employees can take home from an income tax standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and what the business has to pay from a tax standpoint, what leases look like in those places, how terms are set up in those places, how tattoos are viewed in certain areas of Texas, Arizona, Like it was really hard to get a lease in Scottsdale with the word tattooed in our name.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most of the landlords just really had kind of I don't know about that. So unless we moved outside of like the popular areas of Scottsdale, then we got into smaller markets, but with not as much foot traffic. So that kind of erased the point of being there in a way.
For sure.
So yeah, it just kind of kept resignating to come back to Arizona after looking at the tax stuff and this access to the other states, right? Like we can get to Vegas so fast. We can get to California so fast. We can get to Texas so fast. Like it's just nice.
Do you think that there's things inside of all of the options that you were weighing that some business owners overlook? Because most of the time I hear that people are moving for a certain vibe or a certain thing, but you talking about like, how much can my employees take home? And all I feel like you did a lot of like really deep digging into those things.
Well, it was just, we wanted to make sure that the move was good for everybody. We're so small right now, right? Like we reduced the business size, we reduced our launch size, we reduced our staff size, we reduced everything to kind of transition to be a more stable, profitable company. And that made us more maneuverable. And that is basically what's allowing us to move, right? We had the same size staff and the same amount of money going out the door. Moving this looks a lot different, right? Because now we need a space that's bigger, probably not smaller.
Right.
So yeah, we looked into everything. The biggest thing that I wanted to find was just somewhere that we felt like we could, our culture that we were trying to push, our vision for launches, and then our access to conventions, shows, communities that are throwing events like that, and communities where we can fit in, from streetwear to biker meets to tattoo conventions to just conventions for weed or whatever, that we can show up. Just the stuff that shows a little bit more culture, lifestyle, that type of thing is where we wanted to fit in, and Arizona just seemed kind of natural for that.
Gotcha. When you think about making the move, which is happening in a couple of weeks now, you said that it was kind of like emotional talking about it on camera and stuff like that. What were some of the parts that really got you when you're on camera talking about the whole journey and all that?
Yeah. There's kind of two parts for me. The one part that I've always struggled with is change is difficult for me. Like big changes are really difficult for me. There's something I struggled with as a kid. Just don't particularly like change. Humans are creatures of habit, right? And I'm really bad about that. And so the change of that makes me feel like I'm giving up or quitting, even though it's not. It's not a give up. It's not a quit. It's a great move for us. I think it's a great decision. Every time we tell someone about it, they're excited, right? It seems awesome. But anytime I change anything, it seems like I'm quitting on the previous thing, even if it changes for the better.
Interesting.
So that's just an issue that I have with myself. So there was that kind of to overcome. And then there's also just the hometown, home kid dream type of thing, right? So, we started this company with a lot of grassroots visions. We put ourselves in Idaho. We're a community brand. We do a lot of giving back to charities. We want to feel like this brand has done a lot for the space we've been invited into and the people we've helped around this valley, et cetera. Now is leaving them behind. Like, thankfully, because of social media and we're an e-com brand, no, we're not leaving anybody behind. Everybody gets to come with us along on this journey. And that was something that we tried to echo in the verbiage for why we're moving, is that you guys get to all come with us. Thank God for Instagram. You know, that's super cool. And something that we still don't really think about is something that previously you couldn't do. You know, if your hometown brand left your hometown, it left.
For sure.
Right. Even 10 years ago with IG, it wasn't the same as it is now. So that part of just being like a kid that grew up in the North End, wanted this company to eventually be something massive here in the Valley, and realizing that we fit better in a different place is hard for someone like me to kind of adjust. Now, have I wanted to live here my whole life? Do I want to live here my whole life? No, I don't. Like, I would like to move to another place eventually in my life. My wife and I have talked about living on a beach somewhere. We've talked about living in a state with more sunshine, you know, things like that. I don't know. So it was just kind of one of those things where, as a hometown kid, grew up in the North End, lived in Boise my whole life, giving that idea up was difficult for me in different ways.
Gotcha. Take me to those first kind of phases when you first started growing in Boise. What did it look like when you first like pressed the go button on TS? And what was that growth like in the community?
Well, our first event that we ever did before we even really had the website up was an event in Boise. So we went to Treasure Valley Tattoo Convention downtown it was CenturyLink then. And that was really the first place that we launched, hung our banner from the little like upper level where the Steelheads play, all that. Felt really, really cool. It felt really, really big. You know, and really at that point, there wasn't anybody else with like a clothing brand around here. Really, really small stuff. Like, everybody was kind of the same size. And from a streetwear perspective, there wasn't really anywhere. And so we were kind of in this weird place where we're just like making comfortable clothes. It's not really streetwear. It was before like retro streetwear became really popular again, like, because that was just after COVID. I kind of feel like that real streetwear popped off again. And so it was just about like the connections we made at that first event, and realizing that like this community could embrace something like this. And this is a community that could get behind something that's a lot different than what this traditional place is kind of pushed for the norm. And it was a super cool feeling to be there. But then that was the only public event we did for like 4 years until I brought the brand like fully back.
Dang.
Yeah. So we only had one big community event when we first started. And then it moved to Utah with me. It kind of went on the back burner for a year. It moved back, and then there was COVID, and then there was no events. And then we didn't really do an event again until we opened our own warehouse and started holding our own events.
Got you.
So that's when the community really took off, is once we had our own headquarters and through our own events, block parties, flash tattoo events, car shows, that type of stuff.
Okay. It sounds like the ability to be online and kind of like build the community that way has been huge for you guys, because that's a lot of, like, in the first 5 years, that's a lot of roadblocks for an early business to go through.
Yeah. The online, I mean, obviously, you know, not no brand exists, but it's really difficult to exist without e-com or without Instagram, Meta, everything, right? You know? And it was a huge build for us, but that was just done through, like we talked on the last pod about that psycho messaging, where I would send, 100 DMs a day when it didn't flag you for sending messages, and you could just bulk send the same message to people and IG wouldn't flag your account.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and it was, like I said before, it was just to check out the brand. I wasn't trying to sell anything. I just wanted to get people's honest feedback. And I think that approach is what started like the kind of online community that did really well for us until we were able to get back out in public in front of people.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any of those strategies that you ran early on in the business when you were just starting to grow in Boise that you think that you'll bring back when it comes to like kind of starting a grassroots movement in Arizona?
I think the messaging in Arizona, like I think Mac and Avery have talked both about that we need to, once we're there, message as many model type promotional people that are in that valley, and artists as well, that like, hey, we're a brand that's really trying to grow. We're here, not online here, and we'll ship you stuff. Like, we're here. You like us to come to your shop? Would you like to come to our shop? Would you like to come do a shoot with us? Just because access to culture and different looking people and different vibes is a lot more accessible there. And so we're excited to get out into that.
Yeah, I got you. There's one of the things that I heard about fashion that I really enjoy is that somebody said that like fashion doesn't exist. What really exists is cool people and hot people telling you what you should wear. And I think that really ties in with the fact that like, I think a lot of fashion brands, if you're not the one like actually producing the clothes and all of that, a lot of times what you're doing is you're actually creating like the brand is the photography, it's the design, it's all of the things that like go into the feel of it. And you guys have done a really cool job of like creating that. So what is that piece and what does that image look like as you guys transition into that new market where there's a lot more of that available?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it opens up what photo shoots and what video shoots and what all that can look like crazy, right? Like what we're able to do and to create a vibe and to create a launch and get behind something is going to be much more accessible there. Just from cars to backdrops. I mean, we can go desert and get like mesa mountain type red rock stuff. We can stay in town and get like really modern architecture. You know, there's so much different vibes we can get there. So I'm excited to be able to throw that into launches and to be able to, you know, storybook what we're going to do and have a lot more repertoire to choose from. And like seasons wise, like you live in Montana, we live here. Like there's 5 months where it sucks. Like the tree backdrop is terrible for you because things here lose their leaves. Like stuff there doesn't really lose its leaves quite as much. They don't have as much leafy vegetation. I don't know what the fuck you call it as us. So like stuff in the winter looks pretty similar to stuff in the summer there. And so we won't struggle from that aesthetic standpoint to keep a vibe on a page going from launch to launch because we'll be dealing with similar circumstances from launch to launch, which will be really, really cool. Even just from like a sunlight standpoint here, you know, like we get so little sunlight here in the winter that it's so difficult to schedule shoots with people after work because there isn't light.
Yeah, and it's really cold. Nobody wants to be outside.
Yeah, so you're like trying to shoot a t-shirt in January with no light and no sun. It gets hard. You have to be creative, and the amount of times we've had to reschedule, cancel, etc. So I'm really excited for what we're going to be able to do with launches. We have some stuff that's kind of like Arizona themed for us when we first get there to kind of like tip our hat to like Arizona. Like we're here. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this community now. Here's kind of an AZ launch from us. We're going to try to shoot it within that culture as well and have that vibe.
For sure. Being the person that does most of the designing for the different drops and different things like that, is there anything that you're excited about that you feel like being part of that Arizona community or that vibe allows you to do with some of like the merch itself going into that?
I feel like the hat club is going to do really well there. I feel like, I don't know why, I just feel like caps have really grown in terms of culture. Like so many people are wearing different hats all the time, but Boise still is like, you'll rarely see people with like one of the hats that's kind of like trendy, right? Like it's just not like we'll get something here, like the upside down Marlboro thing that went popular like 6 months ago. You're just starting to see that here. Yeah. But if you went to like LA, it was there like a year ago. And so we'll be there when stuff comes out versus being 6 to 8 months behind. So I think that whole kind of vibe for our hat club will be really, really cool because we're going to push some designs out that I think are really going to be appreciated by people. And that's just a recurring kind of business model that does like a nice steady cash flow for us. So I'm excited to grow that there.
Hey guys, just a brief pause in the show to ask one quick favor. A lot of you guys who listen, even the day ones who listen every week, have yet to rate this show on their favorite platform. And so that's the one thing that I'm going to ask you guys. It really helps us grow the show. It helps us get awesome guests on the show. And if you could give us a 5-star rating on your favorite platform that you're listening on right now, it would probably take 10 seconds, but it would mean the world to me. And it'll really help us continue to make an awesome show for you guys. So if you don't mind, that's the only ask. We're not running any ads right now. We're not asking anything of you guys. We just want to be putting out a great show. So if you could go do that, that'd be awesome. And until then, let's get back to the show. When you talk about people being maybe like ahead or behind of the curve when it comes to fashion trends, how do you respond to that? Is that saying that like if you were to release something that's popular in LA now, that people wouldn't catch on to it in a community like Boise for another 8 months? Or what does that allow you to do being in a place that's more up with the times?
Yeah, I mean, like I guess the in industry term would we get to stay fashion forward more often, right? Like our access to garments and access, like now I can go to trade shows that have garments that are showcasing new stuff in LA and get it and then drive it back to Arizona. I don't have to wait for X amount of weeks to finally get a sample from the show and then they have a show season, so they have 2 other shows before they can get back to me for a quote and da-da-da-da. We can go to those shows and drive it back now. So gotcha. Just literal access to garments we'll have a lot more of. Okay. And just cool. There's some weird costs that we're going to save, like all sorts of weird costs like that we'll save on shipping costs because we're not in a hub, right? Like everything we sell is shipped pretty much. Like we have some local pickup that we've done over the years, but our major sales are in major cities or in major states, I guess I would say. You know, we sell a lot in Florida, Texas, and California because there's a lot of fucking people in Florida, Texas, and California, right?
Yeah.
But that means we have to ship, which means that package has to go from Boise to Salt Lake and then Salt Lake to somewhere, or Boise to Seattle and then Seattle to somewhere, or Boise to Nevada and then Nevada to somewhere. And so now our stuff just literally gets to go out.
Gotcha.
And so we have a massive amount of shipping costs that we'll cut out on too.
Dang. Well,
which is so weird.
Yeah. It sounds like you've got a lot of things that like were benefits and like everything from like super technical stuff to a vibe of a place or whatever.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that really like pushed you over the edge to say, this is the spot, we're going to do this one? Like,
yeah. So I think the biggest thing was when it was March, I went out to a tattoo convention in Gilbert. Just outside of Phoenix, but basically in the Phoenix metro area. Went out there with Steve Butcher. We produced Steve's merch for TNS already. He's a really close friend of mine. He invited me to go to the show with him, bring some TS merch, and just kind of get a vibe what it'd be like to be at a bigger convention, you know, not an Idaho convention. And, you know, I went to some dinners, went and got some drinks with some artists and stuff like that, and just kind of networked with people. And it was just like, I haven't made that many connections at any event in Boise ever. And I did it in like the first 6 hours of being there. And it wasn't because I was more open to it. It was because people there were more open to it.
Interesting.
Right. And so I think the market, because there's so much more culture there, there's so much more diversity, there's so much more brands, everything there, that people are so much more open to something different and something new and something exciting and someone that walks up to them with a different attitude. You know, people in Boise are extremely nice and respectful. Are we very open to change? Not really.
Right.
Not really. We just aren't. And that's because we're super comfortable with how things have been. And that's not a bad thing. It's not talking down on Boise in any way. I think it's an amazing place. For a cultural brand that's trying to push and break a norm or break the mold, like we say, it's not maybe the necessary place that aligns with that. So we went to that show. I was able to meet so many different people, really get to know what a culture is like at a convention, because it's very different. You know, it's one giant tattoo shop for a weekend, basically, you know, several hundred artists trying to win awards and everybody's tattooing for 6-8 hours a day, and just getting to meet people in there, them talking to us about, well, where are you guys from? Oh, we're from Idaho. Oh, what? Really? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, Iowa? I'm like, no, Idaho. And they're like, damn, I've never met anybody from Idaho that tells like has a brand. I'm like, yeah, me either.
Right.
So you know, obviously there's brands here in Boise, there's brands in Idaho that are doing quite well, but we want to get to a place where we're recognized at a national level and hopefully a global level. Like, we sold stuff all over the world, but we want to be all over the world, you know? It'd be awesome for us in a year to be able to go to a tattoo convention in, I don't know, South America somewhere, or Asia somewhere, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that sometimes like the best thing to do for the brand, even though you want it to have that like Boise born, that kind of like hometown feel, sometimes in order for that thing to work, you kind of have to leave the nest a little bit. And
100%.
if the best version of TNS's story is that you guys leave and become something huge, I think that is like the people who are really rooting for you guys. I think that is kind of the thing. Like, that's the whole purpose, you know?
I mean, obviously I've had a shit ton of conversations about this with people, and I haven't had anybody with any blowback at all.
Right.
You know, like, everybody's like, nah, I get it. Like, that seems sick.
Yeah.
And talking about us going to all the conventions in the van and the girls going on tour and all that type of stuff, like, sounds pretty sick. Like, everybody's pretty stoked for us on the opportunity that we get. And we're super grateful for the opportunity that we get. You know, without Steve and inviting me to that show, without a buddy of mine that took me to Arizona a few years ago just to hang out and have a good time, without all those things kind of happening, none of this probably happens. So I think we're in a different place. I think we might end up picking a different state, all those types of things, or we might not even be moving. We might not even exist at this point without those conversations and those things happening. So I'm super grateful for everybody that's had a massive impact on the brand, or everybody that's had a minimal impact on the brand. Without all of those inputs and outputs, we don't get to where we are anyways today. So
for sure,
I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool.
I think it's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to, like, you know, the girls are going to load up the van. I'm going to fly out, meet them in a place. We're in, you know, San Francisco for 3 days. We meet several hundred artists at the clubs at night or the restaurants at night, the after parties after the show, sell a bunch of merch, load them back in the van, 2 weeks later, I see them in Austin, Texas. We meet a bunch of Austin, Texas people. You know, they're artists from Oklahoma, artists from Florida, artists from all over the East Coast. They flew into Texas for the weekend. We drove in from Arizona. It was a 9-hour drive. Like, now we go out at night. We have drinks. We go to this restaurant. We meet all these artists. We go to the after party, and we're just doing this every few weeks. We're in the place that we talk about being without having to commute from a northern state or having to pack up suitcases and fly and stuff like that. And the access to that and the relationships and the community that we're going to be able to build from a van on the road is just so much different than we can from a phone trying to send a post to somebody like, hey, would you repost this if you're interested?
Yeah.
Because that just happens so much. It's so overdone now that we need to be in the community doing the original type of marketing.
Right.
Like shake a fucking hand, sell a fucking shirt.
Yeah, for sure.
It still really works.
For sure.
Like we don't have to ship everything. We could meet people in person and sell it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we
no
talked
box, no packing label, no shipping label.
Right. Well, we talked about that too. There's a difference between like, hey, I saw this shirt on Instagram and I thought it was a cool vibe versus, hey, I met these guys at a tattoo convention
I felt their shirt.
Yeah.
I saw it on one of the artists there. I grabbed all 3 colors.
Yeah. Well, and too, like if people have an opportunity to either meet you or meet Mac and Avery, it's so cool because then it goes from like, oh, this is some random brand that I think looks cool to, oh, I've got like, these are kind of my homies. Like I see them at conventions and the whole thing.
And that's the cool part is talking to Steve and meeting all of his friends at this show and they're all from different spots and they've all done, oh, you remember that one time we were in Puerto Rico? Or you remember that one time we were in Texas? Or you remember that one time we were in New York? Or you remember that one time we were in Florida? They have all these stories from all these conventions they go to. Well, once we show up for a year at all these and we run into half the same artists all the time, now we're the norm. Now we see them, we're a normal face. They have half the brand in their closet. Now they're wearing it to the shows. We've just built a community unintentionally by just showing up.
Right. It seems like the focus, as much as there's intangibles when it comes to like shipping costs and delivery and all this stuff, it sounds like you guys are really like shifting back to a people-focused approach for this move. What are some, like, how would you describe that shift right now?
I just feel like, okay, like how many times does your phone ring a day when it's not a real call? How many times does how many texts do you get a day that you try to report as junk? How many DMs do you get a day that are business seeking something? If you look at your message requests, I get like 30 or 40 a day that are spam group chats, spam, let me grow your profile chats, spam, I can get you capital funding chats, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's so much of that I feel like we have toggled that switch on and off, and that breaker's like almost broken on a lot of people. And that affects their purchase cycle, right? That affects their ability to buy clothes and goods. Well, why don't we just start over and disrupt the whole wheel and go back to the grassroots of how you sell merchandise or how you sell anything is a face-to-face connection, making a relationship with someone, exchanging good energy and offering them a product that betters their life in some way. And that's exactly what we're able to do. Those 2 girls are great at explaining the brand. They're both beautiful women. They're both in their 20s, excited to get on the road. There's nothing that would stop somebody from having a great conversation with those 2. And so I think it's just a tremendous opportunity for us to provide the normal way to sell something because we've all kind of forgotten how that goes.
Yeah. Talk to
me.
Like
you're closing all this stuff on your funnel building and all that, but that's probably all, what are you DMing, like all those, or are they all local? You're meeting them?
All local.
And you're meeting them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably why it's doing really fucking good.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's hard to, like, there's so much bullshit online. Like, you took that course and I was like, is it real? Because it's just so hard to tell, right? Like, even the best people at selling something online, you're like, meh, I still don't know if that's real. And like, we get that from people all the time. Their feedback is like, I didn't know if you guys are like a real IG brand or just like some cheap Chinese shit. And so I was so excited when I got the tee because it was way nicer quality than I was expecting. And it's like, that's what we're up against. Like, our competition isn't just actual competition. It's fake competition just as much as real.
Interesting.
And so for us to be really real in the community that we want to identify with, physically being there, probably no better place for us.
Yeah, we were talking too about the difference between trying to go towards everybody who's like your baseline customers. So like everybody who's got a tattoo, regardless of where they're at in the US or what kind of job that they work, versus working with artists who, if they're representing the brand and they're friends with you and you can like give back to them and all that kind of stuff, it kind of changes a little bit because they've already got a lot of credibility in the community.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, I know that you said that personally you want to go and make a lot of relationships with the artists in the community. What does that look like for you being able to like tap into that a little bit more?
Yeah, so that's my kind of main goal when we're at these shows is to build I don't know if they're bigger relationships, but the working relationships with artists and stuff. I want to get to a place where we have merch that we produce for artists, but also help monetize their, passive income. We can help them release an e-course. We can help them release an ebook on color shading because they're one of the best at it. And they can sell that now at their seminars that they host at these events and stuff like that. So they can start making some passive income, because the only way these artists make money typically is when they're working.
They're hired guns, yeah.
Yeah, and even when they Steve has produced stuff for the All Blacks, the rugby team. He's done stuff for snowboard companies, like bottoms of stuff, but he gets like a one-off check and then it's done, right? Like I want to create a business model where we can keep funding their pockets so these guys aren't breaking their wrists, quite literally shading all day trying to make money.
Yeah.
A lot of their skill is so unfortunately not passed on to other people because it's difficult to teach. It takes a lot of time and no one's really kind of pushing education of tattoo unless it's in person, because it was such a traditional way to learn, right?
Like apprenticeships.
Get an apprenticeship, sit your ass down, take out the trash, clean the floor, do all the stuff before you learn how to pick up a machine and get going. So I think if we're able to kind of flip the narrative on the education side while also flipping the narrative on the merch side, because they've never been paid for any merch either. Either they're trying to produce their own merch, which they're not great salespeople and they're not usually fashion people.
Because they're tattooing for 8 hours a day.
Because they're tattooing for 8 hours a day and they're not on their phone and they can't DM people to sell stuff. And when they're at shows, it's difficult for them to unglove and put down their machine and stand up and sell a shirt. So a lot of them would just rather not.
Yeah.
So we can take all that off their hands. We can build out a whole link for them that's separate. We want to create dashboards so they can see their sales of their merch live. And then we want to do a flat fee for their art and then basically a commission check off of total sales.
Wow. So it sounds like instead of just like trying to develop these relationships of like, hey, you can be a TS ambassador, you're like actually trying to help them grow their business.
Yeah. I want their business. I want TNS to be a hub for artists, an education hub, an entrepreneurship hub. So I have one of Steve's buddies that I've made friends with is Ryan Jordan. He's a great artist out of Arizona. Incredible floral stuff, bro. He does such cool color floral stuff that doesn't look real. It's so cool.
Okay.
But he's really good at teaching the business side of stuff about like how you market yourself, how often you should post, what apps you should use, how you should organize your appointments, what calendar apps he uses, all this type of stuff for finances. He's opened many different shops. He used to run gyms. He was a personal trainer. Has a lot of business advice. He's had multiple kids. Like he's grown up. His kids have kids. So
yeah,
he has a lot of business advice that he could offer. And he teaches this at these seminars that he does at these big shows. Well, why don't you have a fucking ebook on owning your own tattoo business?
For sure.
You sell that for $50. You sell that 20 times a show to people. They don't even have to come to your 9 a.m. seminar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they come to the 9 a.m. seminar, they get a free download of the book. Something like that,
Yeah.
And they get free access for 6 weeks and then the PDF locks or something like that,
I think stuff like that is so huge too, because just like you said, it's a traditional industry with people learning. I think it's also traditional when it comes to all of the back end stuff.
Yeah.
Just like you said, they're not like a couple of my buddies who are artists, they'll use like Instagram to book their stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get there and it's like, hey, cash or Venmo. And some of these times they're having 4-figure days and it's like, okay, yeah, Venmo me. I don't know. Yeah. But it's
like,
so,
that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting to me because I think that somebody who's like that, they can make some money on their course or whatever, but they're actually gonna, over the course of a year, make every artist who follows that probably thousands of dollars because of like efficiencies in their thing.
Yeah.
Actually getting paid.
And like I love Steve. I love a lot of his artist friends that I've met. I haven't met one of them that runs a very good schedule.
Interesting.
They're just not great at it.
Yeah.
It's not because they're not good people. It's not because they're not trying. It's not because they don't want to be better. They're artists. And it's something that we talk about. Like, have you ever met somebody that's a real artist? Like, they're usually kind of intricate people. They're different, right?
Yeah.
They have a different brain than most people, and they struggle to stay organized on mundane tasks, I feel like, because they're too creative.
Yeah.
They're too creative to do something so simple, right? No, they'll remember. They think they'll remember, right? And so the amount of times I've seen them not collect cash when they should have for an appointment, or miss a scheduling appointment, or double book themselves, or things like that are just such simplistic things that if they were taught properly how to run a business and then had maybe an ebook to reference from time to time on things you do when you're booking
Yeah.
we could make so many artists better business owners, make them some more money, have people not cycling out of the industry so much, and build some younger, more professional business owners as they grow into later ages in their life, because you can't tattoo forever.
Yeah. It sounds like you're even going upstream from just like, we want the community of like our merch and our people and stuff like that to be good. It sounds like you guys are trying to make an impact just like in the tattoo world in general.
Yeah. I mean, you have to start with the merch. I think we'll start with the merch. The merch is, you know, like our flagship. We want to be in the community. We want the artists wearing the stuff. We want the people getting tattooed wearing the things. We want people that don't have tattoos wearing the merch. We have a bunch of merch coming out that doesn't say anything about tattoos on it.
Nice.
You know, because everybody that has a tattoo has a friend that doesn't have one. So we might as well sell to them too.
Yeah.
And I think there's entrepreneurship courses that we'll be able to offer from artists that people that don't have tattoos would otherwise be interested in. Makeup artists, you know, anybody that's an appointment-based booking system could probably learn something from some tattoo artist that's also an appointment-based booking system. So I think if we're able to offer like e-courses, merch, offer a way for these guys to help their business. So whether that's me helping them set up some kind of like basic principles, there's just a bunch of ideas that I have to try to help these guys out, to help them, you know, run better businesses, promote their brand more through their merch, and us kind of be the hub for that.
Right. One of the things we've danced around a little bit is the idea of the girls hopping in a van and going on tour. Tell me about
TS on tour.
Tell me about TS on tour, dude. That's one of the coolest ideas I've heard in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's cool as fuck. All the people we've told about it think it's really cool. So, we're moving to Arizona. The goal is to get a van, Sprinter van, transit van, something like that, the first couple weeks. Get it wrapped with the logos, gut the back of it so we can fit as much shit in it. Probably leave one row of seats or something like that, you know? And then the goal is to be at an event or convention not in the state every month. So the goal is to be to 12 to 15 out-of-state events in 2026. Hopefully you can get a couple before the year ends as well. But that means the girls are loading up on Wednesdays, or probably loading up on Thursday mornings, driving out to wherever, spending the weekend at an Airbnb, spending the all day in a convention, spending all night in different restaurants, clubs, bars, etc., meeting people, and then doing it all over the next day, doing it all over the next day, and then loading back up, heading back to Arizona, getting ready for the week and restarting and looking for the next one. So the TS is going on tour. Hopefully we have 15 tour dates coming up. We're going to try to make some merch kind of around the tour dates. We're going to try to make like movie posters to put on the store windows when we're gone, and really kind of get the vibe that like we're a brand for the people. We're going where the people are going. We're going to where the shows are, and we're excited to meet as many people as possible.
That's going to be so cool.
Dude, it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. I'm excited to go see some new cities too, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've been super fortunate to travel to a lot of places, but a lot of them have been duplicate places that I've gone a lot for sports and stuff like that. And so where some of these conventions are and places I haven't been and things like that. So I'm excited.
For the people who haven't been to tattoo conventions, what's kind of like the flow of how that goes, and what's the, you know, like the setup of those?
Yeah. Well, usually they have like one center stage somewhere, usually a couple bars spaced out, and then it's just like a normal. They have usually the cloth dividers doing the rows, and then pretty much everybody gets a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 20 or a 10 by whatever, as many artists they have. A lot of people are there as singles, so they just get 10 by 10s. A lot of companies or studios sponsor a whole row, so they'll have like a 10 by 40 and 4 of their artists in there, and that looks pretty cool and stuff like that. So it just kind of is one big ass tattoo shop for the weekend, and you get people that are in there just looking at artists tattooing. You get people that are in there for specific appointments. There's people that are walking in just trying to get a piece that day. And then you have a lot of like cool vendors, I feel like. So there's always like taxidermies type stuff there. There's always like people with skulls and like collective things like that. There's always some sort of physio there to like stretch people out and shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's always random food people. A lot of the shows have food trucks outside. And then almost every show starts the morning with seminars from different, like, of the bigger artists there. Either the artists that are there to be judges or higher end artists that are there. So
got you.
Yeah, Steve typically does like 1 or 2 seminars at all the shows talking about like color realism and how he shades and what needles he uses, what machine he uses. And so all the artists go to that, ask him questions and stuff like that.
Got you.
It's pretty cool.
What's the, like, if you
They're usually always 3 days too.
Okay. So over the course of those 3 days, what does it look like for your team, for you guys to like show up, nail each of the 3 days?
Yeah.
What does that like perfect balance look like over the course of that?
Well, the nice thing is that untypical to normal trade shows, they really don't kick off till like 11 or noon. You know, a lot of trade shows start 8 a.m. because it's normal business, but nobody wants to be tattooed at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, true.
And so tattoo conventions don't really kick off till like 11 or noon.
Yeah.
So the nice thing is then you get to when the shows are over at night, which they typically end 9, 10, 11, you can go out, you can have a good time, you can meet all these people, make all these connections, sleep in, have a great breakfast, and then you do it again. So it's kind of like going on vacation in a way. You get to sleep in, have fun at night, and then you just hang out with cool ass people and watch good art all day.
Yeah.
Like it's the last 2 I've gone to have been so much fun. Like the last one we went to in Arizona had like a local tribe, Indian tribe that came in, like did dances, super fucking sick, like native dances. They put on all the stuff and shit. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's always something going on. And then they had like a car show on Sunday, a car and bike show on Sunday. So that was cool. So all of the shows usually do some sort of like coordinating thing with it as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
Do you have a vision for what you want your guys' trade show presence to look like at some point for like its final?
What it would eventually look like? Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Yeah. What's that like?
Probably a 10 by 30. I think we want a 10 by 30 at least, or a 10 by 40. 2 entrances. I want a second story with like a hangout area. And then I want to do real simple inside, just like not a lot of people do like the wall, put all the tees on it, and then they have like a big counter that people walk up to and that type of stuff. Why I think we're different is our actual garments are better than other people's. We use higher end stuff. Like we truly take the time to make sure we use better stuff. And so I want people to come in and be able to like touch, feel stuff, and then a checkout at the end. So like truly like a mini store.
Dang.
Yeah. Full setup, upstairs, all of it.
What's
So
the upstairs hang going to be like?
I just want like an area for artists to come, like to have those meetings with me. Right. So I can land those kind of artist clients because my goal is to kind of get like 5 to 10 this first year.
Yeah.
And then to start like stacking like big ones in 27.
Okay, got you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I love the most about walking into your store now in Boise is like, I think that you do a really good job of. Yes,
R.I.P. the floor.
I know you do a really good job of making like the physical place feel like what the brand is.
Right.
And I think that can be so hard to transfer.
Yeah.
What does it take to do that? And like, how are you going to do that when you guys get to Arizona?
Yeah. So the space we got in Arizona for the business is a really cool building. Obviously, we've been in a brand new, modern, super cool building and have made it look like our own. This is a little bit the opposite vibe. So it's an old building that they've modernized and brought up to the standard, like kind of new modern standards. So, you know, we're doing the similar things, painting the ceiling all black, fresh coat white on the walls, and then trying to bring in as much of like our merch and just like where we've been and posters. And we're going to do something with launches going forward where we create like a movie style poster, kind of like a preview of it, and like frame those and hang those up in there. So it's kind of like past launches look like past movies in a way with dates on them and stuff like that. So just trying to bring that kind of inspo of streetwear kind of lifestyle into spaces as much as possible. When we go to shows, we always bring like our big graffiti tent. So it has all of our logos graffitied on it with like the white TS on it. So it just pops up. And then we attach those feather flags on the legs of the tent. So then it hangs up above everybody.
Nice.
So they're like 15, 20 feet up in the air. We just zip tie them on at the highest point.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can't take credit for it. Creative Wraps in CUNA, the first time we went to a car show, they did that. And I was like, doing that going forward?
Bingo.
Yeah, so we actually need some new flags for our tent because ours right now say tattoos, but we won't be taking artists with us. So we need to get ones that just say TNS on them. But
Got you.
yeah, we'll attach some of those feather flags up on the tent. And then we always bring like our LEDs. So we have LEDs with like our logo on them. One says inked, one says break the mold. And those get a ton of people's attention just because nobody brings like a bright ass LED into a convention typically.
For sure.
And people typically don't bring tents into inside events, right? Because you don't need it. But we do it because it's a shit ton of branding and it's obviously very like grabs your eye quite a bit. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Are you guys gonna?
And it gives us something to hang stuff up off of as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, trade shows or like booth design is kind of a nightmare.
It's kind of a nightmare, but when you're doing it like our way, it's kind of fun and creative to like figure out different ways, especially because we went to several events last year where we got like different booths than we thought we were getting. Like one time they put us on a corner, so we had like
two open.
Yeah, two angles. It was so awkward. We got there and that was like, oh, okay, we have to completely change how we were going to build this. And stuff like that's kind of fun though, I think. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, seriously.
But we're trying to get just probably 10 by 10s at most of the places we go. We don't need anything bigger than that with just two girls and me probably.
Got you. Yeah, I used to do.
The goal would be to get 10 by 10s for maybe half the year, and then 10 by 20 by the end of the year if we're doing even better, and then 10 by 30s for
once it picks up.
Yeah, more stuff.
Especially with more artists being like, hey, we need to do this.
We need our merch.
Yeah, for sure. I used to do, in the roundabout way, I was doing some stuff for medical trade shows, and we had
those start first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and you got to be like suited and booted first thing in the morning.
At 6 o'clock.
That's why I started drinking coffee. It was those trade shows. You'd be on the floor at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
in your suit, ready to roll.
Like doctors wake up.
I know.
My last surgery check-in was like 6:30.
Yeah, it's insane. At least you're kind of like too tired to get nervous about it yet.
I asked the nurse, I'm like, what time did you get here? She's like, 5. Ow, I'm sorry.
That's insane.
Yeah, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry.
Seriously. But that's why I started drinking coffee, because I was like 22. I'm like, this is brutal.
Yeah.
But we had to, instead of setting up a bunch of cool stuff, we were doing like glass LED cases with all these fancy like 3D printed anatomies on there and all this shit. So it would be like that. But then we would also treat it on the back end. We would still go out. We'd still go to dinner. We'd still do all the relationship building stuff. But since I was the lowest on the totem pole and living in Montana where there's no direct flights there, everybody the next morning would fly out and they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Houston. I'll be there by noon today. And then I'll probably sleep and hang out with my family and blah, blah, blah. And so I always got stuck packing up the entire booth, shipping the entire booth. And then I'd have like an 8-hour flight to get back to Montana.
Yeah. I helped set up. Well, I worked at Muscle Farm for a little bit and went to shows with them and helped set up their massive 2-story booths and stuff. Not fun. Not fun by yourself.
Yeah.
No. They'd always end up making like inside sales guys go do that.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Some of the biggest companies too, they'll hire like entire trade show staffs just to do that.
Well, their trade shows travel in like semis.
Yeah, it looks like a concert setup, like a concert set.
Did you see Jim Reaper's setup for their last shows they've been going to? Fucking sick.
Really?
Yeah, so cool. So cool.
What are they setting up?
One of their last shows, I swear they had like a full container. Like shipping container was part of their booth. I don't know how they did that. I don't know if it was real or if it was just like a side of one or something, but it looked pretty fucking cool. But fitness convention exhibits are wild.
Yeah.
Like fitness show convention exhibits are wild. Doing those shows for a while and just like every time people would come with something just ridiculous.
Yeah. Trade shows are one of the things I never thought about until I was like having to go to them, but it wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
What businesses, or like if somebody's thinking about, hey, maybe a trade show would be good for me, like what size do you need to go? Do you need to be in your business? Should you show up as an attendee first? Like what would you tell somebody?
I would say just if you're starting small, go to the trade show in your community first. Don't seek out ones that are obviously outside your kind of realm just so you can keep your travel costs down. And then I would say go as a patron first, kind of see if you would fit the vibe. And then, I would just start with a 10 by 10, ask them if they have discounts, if you book early, all sorts of little things. Can we be a part of any throw-in packages, stuff like that?
What are some of the things that people get wrong when they go to trade shows?
I feel like people bring too much variety, right? You don't have people's attention for very long, right? And if you bring too much, people will just walk by, right? If it's too busy, people don't tend to want to look for too long. So I think we've done better when we've kept it pretty simple from a SKU standpoint and only brought like kind of core items, 4 or 5 items, 2 that are girl specific, the rest that are kind of gender neutral, and then accessory stuff. The less crowded we've made it, the better we've done.
Okay. What about when you're in the booth?
Just eye contact, dude. It's like the best. It's hard as it is. Like we're on our phones so much, but at least if you're rotating one person to the front of their booth and they're saying hi to people, we're so bad about being on our phones. And I know trade shows can get boring. I know it's a long time to spend in like a cube, basically.
Yeah.
But if you have your eyes up, you're more than likely to make connections with more people, more sales, and it's a lot more fun. The time goes by a lot faster when you're hanging out, talking to people and meeting new people than flipping on your phone.
For sure.
So it actually is more enjoyable to do that. It's just a hard habit to break for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I noticed too is the people who go there and their goal is to collect 200 business cards.
Yeah.
It seems like they kind of miss the point.
Yeah. Volume, if they're just thinking just straight shotgun volume. Yeah. And that's just kind of a weird tactic. But yeah, we've just tried to like just make as many meaningful connections as you can with people. Introduce yourself to as many people as possible. And we kind of rotate walking around. Walk around every 30, 45 minutes. You're in your branded apparel. You're basically just like a lure, just like hooking people back to your booth. So they see you 7 times walk by and then they see your booth. They're like, oh, that's where they are.
Yeah.
That type of thing I think is super helpful too.
If somebody was thinking about going to a trade show as an attendee and being like, okay, I'm going to see, I don't know what I'm going for. I'm just going to see if this is our vibe, if this and that. Would you recommend to them to try to make like, let's say 10 meaningful conversations and meaningful connections over that 3-day span, or to try to go for like the
300 business card thing?
Get 300 a day and then follow up?
Follow-ups are impossible.
I think so too, dude.
Because again, it's how many messages do they get from, like, you're an unknown number. Your contact isn't in there. So if you DM them, you're in requests. And if you text them, you're in probably the report as junk because they might not open it.
Yep.
And so I feel like, the meaningful is way worth it. If you waste 15 minutes on somebody and you got their IG, you guys exchange contacts, you guys talk for a little bit, that's way better than just like getting their card.
I agree.
I like having business cards. We do it for the gym and I think they're important, but I think business cards are dead. I don't think they're important because I don't see anybody reference them after they get them. Like nobody's like, you don't see anybody that's like, where'd you meet them? Oh, I had their card still and I reached out to them. Like I've never heard that. Or maybe I've not heard it in a long time. It's, I saw them on IG, I met them at this, something like that. It's either I saw them on IG or I met them in person. It's not I got their card.
Would you recommend that people intentionally don't carry business cards?
I've done that. I don't carry cards anymore.
Well, how do you handle that situation then?
When they ask for one?
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram, send me a message right now.
I think that's almost better in some ways because the thing that's good about it is like, I think what a business card is like you exchange this promise on a piece of paper that I'm going to reach out to you later. But then when you get back to the hotel or you get back to wherever you're going and that's sitting next to 7 other business cards, it starts to look like a task list, like a to-dos. And it's like, I kind of want to just go to dinner.
Yeah, that, or you get 40 business cards. Let's say what's a good day look like? You get 20 business cards?
Sure.
Okay, you get 20 business cards, or let's say you get 8 meaningful connections where you got their IGs. Well, that's only 8 messages to send later that says, hey, dude, it was so good to meet you. You're not in their requests.
Yeah.
You're in their primary or general folder.
Yeah.
And you already are following each other. There's already a connection. That's probably got a lot higher lead than cold. I mean, it's still a cold call.
Right.
Right?
Like, yeah, true.
If you're not in their contact, if you're not a contact in their phone and you're not a follower, you're going to end up in their junk more than likely. And so it's basically just an essential second cold call.
For sure.
So I'd rather have a very warm lead than a second cold call.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting though, because a lot of like,
and it's easy to like, I can't lose my IG follows.
True.
I mean, I can get banned. A lot of that stuff. I can lose a business card really fucking easy.
For sure.
And like, where do you put them when you get them?
Yeah, in your pocket. Yeah. And then that goes in the garbage.
Yeah, that doesn't stay in there. You've washed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I think it's tricky too, because if you have a business card, it's really easy to just like pass off that interaction and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll add their contact later, I'll do whatever. But agreed. I think that like the times that I actually have somebody that I meet randomly and follow up with them, it's because I'll like sit there and be like, hey, what's your number? I'm gonna text you right now.
Yeah.
Watch them save it, or follow each other on Instagram and do it that way.
I've gotten a lot of cards in the last 6 months and I haven't messaged anybody on this.
Same. Yeah.
But
same.
I've met a lot of people at different things. I've talked to a lot of them.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So it's like, I didn't take any to California and I met a ton of people that are in my kind of realm of what I do, but followed a bunch of them on IG, talked to them a bunch in person. Like, that was way better. Like, here's my card. And you look like an asshole kind of, or like, it's just kind of cheesy still.
It's like, yeah,
you
it's
feel
like networking.
You feel like you're at a networking event,
Yeah.
like Young Professionals of America, and you need to hand out 40 cards because it's what they said on your checklist bingo that you have to do before we get to the end of the event. Before lunch is served, everybody has to pass out 40 cards.
That's a guy who's been in real estate before.
Yeah. It's also someone that went to Young Professional events and was forced to do that. And I just like, nobody followed up.
Yeah.
Like, just nobody does, because it's not a real interaction. Even if and I do think that, like, especially the cards that don't have photos on them and stuff now, because it's like, who the fuck was that?
Right.
Like this, fuck, I met 75 people today. Who the fuck is Technology Systems of America? Like, who is this? I have no idea who, like,
yeah,
it's just so hard. Like, we meet so many people on top of the amount of people that text you that day. Most of the people that you want to meet, if you're a high level person, are probably business owners. So they have all their employees texting them all fucking day. They probably have children and a significant other. If they are single for some reason, they probably have other people texting them for something. And so it's like, how do you remember these people at the end of the day on cards? Maybe people have much better recall than me. by all means, that's incredible for you. But I still don't think you're sending those messages when you get back to your room.
Right. I agree.
Especially after you went out and had drinks and like hung out with everybody. You could have just got those connections, which would have been better.
True.
I just feel like the whole like, hey man, take my card thing is just like, but for our trainers, I think it's really good when someone comes in and wants to book a session and doesn't know who they would better train with. And our front desk is pretty good about judging vibe and being like, I think Austin would be a great fit for you. I think Emily would be a great fit. I think Grace would be a great fit based on what their goals are. I think that works because it has their IG, it has their contact info, and they specifically are asking for someone. It's not cold. But as a cold, just like, I don't know who you are, you don't know who me, and here's my business card.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that works real well anymore.
You mentioned that a handful of times that like IG is kind of like one of the ways that you do it. Do you think that in some ways IG is
card?
Do you think it's better than even a phone number at this point?
Yeah. Because people are better at responding on Instagram than texting, I think.
Interesting.
I do. I know so many people that have their message alerts off and their IG alerts on.
Huh.
Because they don't want to get all the junk. Like we get so much bullshit on our phones. Like they don't want the loud text messages from people they don't want to talk to. They want the people they do want to talk to on their IG because the people they don't want to talk to on IG end up in requests anyway, so they don't see it. Like you don't have a request on your phone.
Yeah, true.
It just is there.
Yeah.
Like it says spam likely, but it's still ringing. And if Apple fixes that, then maybe people respond to more texts. But for now, I don't think so. The whole like spam is likely and that they're screening calls and all that hasn't fixed anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, not really.
No,
yeah, because I don't answer it. Yeah.
It still says spam likely. That doesn't change the fact it's ringing on my phone.
Yeah.
Or the like funding things or whatever texts that you get, because I know you get all of them because you own businesses. Your phone number is registered.
Yeah.
It's like, why those don't get caught. And so you're just so much less likely to respond to people. Like I only respond to people that I have pinned.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I have like a cycle of pinning people. But if you text me and I look, I'll pin you. And then I respond to those people. But if my pins are full, then I can't respond. And so it's this level of I can respond to 9 people pretty accurately from time to time. But if it gets over 9, we have problems.
Huh. That's
because
actually
it just gets filled up with crap.
Yeah, yeah.
Because by the time I get back to it, there's crap that pushed it down.
So would you recommend to people then that they're going
to have crap on IG that ends up in requests?
So people's goal when they go to things like this is like to follow each other on Instagram and like
get as many mutual follows as you can after a conversation in person.
Yeah. Really interesting.
And then follow up with a message at night that it was great to meet them. You're thankful for the connection. You're looking to meet more people like them. What's the next event they're going to? How can I help you? Be an asset.
Yeah, that's huge. Shifting gears a little bit to, back to the move. One of the things that's been heavy on my mind, heart, the whole thing lately is moving a business.
Yeah.
It's I'm 3.5 years in Billings right now. It'll be 4 next March. And there's opportunities to do.
There's space in Arizona in our building.
Right.
We could use your film crew.
True. And
we could make a podcast.
So it's one of the things that I've considered is like spending the entirety of my 20s inside of Billings is probably not in the cards for me. That being said, I've got a lot of people that I really...
You basically have 3.5 left till you turn 30, right?
Yeah, I'm 26 right now.
Yeah, so 3.5 till you're 30 and spent 3.5 there.
Correct. And so what I'm trying to figure out right now is there's a lot of people that I still care a ton about their businesses. I care a ton to have them as friends and all these different things.
Yeah.
And so I don't imagine myself entirely moving my business out of Billings. I still want to be able to serve them or provide value and do all these different things. But it has been an idea of like, okay, well, what do I do with this move? How do I transfer stuff? So,
well, I mean,
I'm curious for you though, like how when you decided like TS might be better in a different place. What's that like as a business owner? And like, what are the things that go through your head when you're trying to figure out if that's a move to make or not?
Well, there's got to be like a multitude of reasons why you're doing it. So is it better for the business? Is it just better for me? Is it better for my people? Is it better for the community we serve? Like there's all the levels of benefit, right? And like you only have so much benefit or output or help that you can provide. There's only one Drew. There's only X amount of cameras. There are only X amount of employees. Now, if you increase your capacity with more employees, you obviously have more output, et cetera. But I think those are kind of like the 4 levels that you have to kind of check. Like, is this for me? Is this for the business? Is this for my people? Or is this for what we're trying to attack? Right. And like, if you get to a place where more than half of those benefit from moving, then it's kind of telling you what to do.
Right.
Right. Like, do you want to not be there? Correct. Like you don't you want to be somewhere different. Mm-hmm. Would the business benefit from you being somewhere else?
Maybe. Depends on if we open another branch.
Yeah, probably. Like if you guys had a mini hub there with independent contractors and a small lease, and then your hub in Austin. Austin's revenue probably funds your independent contractors in Billings, and you're probably still able to provide a pretty good service.
Right.
Because there's probably an Austin to Salt Lake to Billings. Mm-hmm. And then your culture, the people you want to provide for, you're probably able to provide for more people with more successful businesses in Austin than in Billings.
Right.
And then your people. Well, your people would take home more money and you'd pay less taxes. So you're 4 for 4.
Right.
So
interesting.
Makes it so you don't actually have to make a choice.
Yeah.
There you go, big guy. That's kind of the way I looked at it. Is I tried to get it out of my mind and stop making, you got to be in, we've talked about emotions and counseling and men and all that fun jazz. And we want to be in touch with our emotions, and we want to make decisions from the heart. We're a brand that's trying to speak from the heart. We're a brand that's trying to be heartfelt with our community on that type of shit. But you don't want to make emotional decisions for the business, right? Emotionally, we could never leave. But if I go through those 4 kind of compartments of where we should leave, every one of ours was an absolute yes. Do I want the business to move somewhere? Do I actually eventually want to move? Yes. Would the business benefit from being in a more cultural, diverse place? Yes. Would my employees benefit from being in this place? Yes. So it's like, yeah. And would the business be actually more profitable in this other place? By actual direct tax data? Yes. Like if we did the exact same there as here, yes. The employees take home more. The business takes home more. Our cost is lower. Our COGS are like everything is lower.
It's math.
Yeah, it's math. So it's like that's the kind of the way that I tried to remove myself and away from the decision-making process while also staying in the decision-making process. So I made it about, those kind of 4 levels of things instead.
What did it look like taking some of those emotions out for you, and what were like the hardest ones that came up during the
that whole kind of Boise kid. No, I'm not even born here, and I keep saying that. So probably fucking retract that from the statements, but I basically say I'm born here because I don't remember anywhere else, and I was here before I even turned 1. So as a Boise kid, as a kid that, went to school here all the way through their adolescence, it's difficult you're taught to I'm not taught not to leave, but I feel like this community has a weird way of holding people here. Kind of like Billings.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have anything here, so why would you leave? Not that we don't have anything here and Billings doesn't have anything. Billings might not have anything. We don't have anything here. But
it's okay when you say it.
Yeah. It's just these small communities have a way of like gluing people to them. And it's because they're a great community to do a lot of great things. Now, I'm not trying to do not great things. I'm trying to do way different things that haven't been done here. Have they been done in Arizona? Yeah, they've been done in Arizona many times over with different cultural brands. There's brands that are very similar to ours based in different places in Arizona than we are. So it's already shown that it can work there. Some people would say like, well, you're moving into the competition. I'm like, I like that. I'll probably learn something a lot faster being near people that are doing similar things than not being near people doing not similar things.
Yeah.
So kind of works like that in a way to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, talk to me about that, because that's one of the things that living in a small community like Billings is like.
Yeah, Boise's what? Like
it's 10 times bigger than Billings.
Yeah, but it's Billings like probably in 10 years.
Probably, yeah.
Billings probably looks similar to Boise in 10 to 15.
I hope so.
Boise looks like Billings probably in 2000.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe we're 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
In terms of size, but in terms of like features, you guys are probably only 5 to 10 behind. I just have so much new housing and new stuff coming in.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the things that's interesting about those communities, though, is like the general level of competition just isn't as high.
Yeah. I just don't know what that glue shit is, though. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, like what is the glue that holds people to small towns?
I think life is easy.
Ah.
And that's what I was going to get.
Less obstruction doesn't create change.
Well, that's what I was going to get to is like
easiest road.
Like Billings it was really easy for me to get started. Mm-hmm. It's really easy. And the thing that I like about Billings, it's easy to access all of the people who have done something because there's not that much in between.
Right.
When you're in somewhere.
Have or haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And if they see promise in you, they're like, oh, this is one of us.
You can be a have.
And there's not much red tape in between.
That makes sense.
So I think that communities like that, it's really easy to win. It's really easy to stand out. And if you actually decide to get good, then you can create this moat around yourself where like nobody else is doing this. We actually chose to do it really well, even though we didn't have to. And chances are nobody else is going to come into this space.
Yeah, it just seems like it's so much harder to get better though. And you stay so comfortable.
I think.
Or complacent, I guess.
Well, and also
there's such an ease to complacency because of no obstruction.
True. And if nobody's showing you what the top line of something could look like, you might only get to 40
inspiration.
Yeah, too. you might get to 40% of your potential, but you think that you're like
crushing
on the top of the mountain because you haven't seen anybody else execute on the other 60.
Yeah. And that goes back to, but that's just a different mentality from some people. Some people want that convenience. Whereas like just for an example, like I fucking hated it playing sports if a team's best player was out. Like I didn't want to play. People would be like, oh, he's not playing. I'd be like, I don't want to play then.
Yeah.
Because if we beat them, it doesn't count. Like I literally say all the time, we beat teams that their best players out, doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like, no, we still won. Like, no, it doesn't.
Especially in basketball.
Yeah, basketball, football, anything, like doesn't count if their best dude's not there. I don't care. Like I don't want to win wrongfully. I don't want an easier path out. I want the hardest path out, because then we're more likely to learn something, get better, be the best, chase something worth chasing. You know, all those kind of phrases come into the conversation when you're pushing towards something that could potentially be your downfall. True. Right? Or beat you. Not your downfall, but put you in your place, beat you, etc. You lose.
Yeah.
Like losing's great. It teaches you what you need to do differently. But so often we choose like the path of most wins. Yeah. And that's right. You should choose the path of most wins to have a successful business or life or et cetera, but not at the lack of not having lessons to learn. And so I feel like there's so many lessons we're going to learn in the first 2 months of being there. The first 5 shows we go to, we're going to probably do it completely different on the 6th.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it the same. I don't know. Maybe we'll hit it. But, you know, like the ability to learn and to want to change and have something that would force us to change and force us to be better, that's what we want.
Got you.
And I think that's what those small towns do, is they just allow you to be comfortable because there's a lack of obstruction or competition.
And you kind of get praise as soon as you do something. It's like, oh, you did this and you did it, because again, the reference point is like next to zero. So it's comfortable. It's not that hard to win, and you get praised for doing it. So it's like, well, why would I leave this comfy little nest that I'm in where everyone tells me I'm good?
Yeah. People are like, you guys have such a cool building and you guys host those great events. And I'm like, we do. I'm not saying that we don't. We've done a great job. We've been able to donate a lot to some different charities, and that's been super, super, super cool. But I want to meet people in the community, tattoo community. I want to produce stuff for artists. I want to help us change the perception of tattoos in the community. It's really hard to do that here.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Like the events that are here, that are thrown here, aren't good for selling merch at. Like we have the Western Idaho Fair, we have the Boise Music Festival, we have Hemp Fest, Soul Food Festival, and car events, and our events that we threw. Out of all the events we've done in the last 3 years, our events are the best ones that we do from a profitability standpoint.
That's a grind too.
And they're the hardest to do, right?
Yeah.
They're also our highest cost, but they're the only ones that we even break even on. Well, that to me tells we're the attraction. So what are we doing in a place that we can't get attraction in other places? Now, when we went to other states and went to conventions, we broke even, did great. And so it's literally the numbers, again, go back to like, will the business do better somewhere else? Well, it's shown you it will. And it's shown you that in the place that you're currently at, you are the attraction. I don't want to be the attraction. I don't want TS to be the main attraction. We want to go to things that are attractive so that we can meet people that would be attracted to us. You know, when you're striving to break through this wall of trying to do this in a community where you're the only one, forging that first path is extremely difficult. And it's something that we wanted to do and willing to do, but it's cost us not learning as much as we could and not having the competition that would push us to be a better version of ourselves as often. And I think that's what's so attractive about being anywhere else, whether you're in Billings, Boise, anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if you already are in Arizona, you're in Austin, Texas, you're crushing it. Move to Nashville. It's a different demographic, same style of town, different demographic, might meet a whole new level of competition. You don't know. But if you're in your own backyard, it's your own backyard.
Yeah.
Probably have a good game plan.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Do you think that you feel more comfortable inside a competition? Like almost, do you feel more comfortable being uncomfortable?
Yeah, definitely. But that's why I always make myself do uncomfortable shit. I think when we fail to push ourselves to do uncomfortable things, we've lost like our edge. Even not just as a competitor, but as like a person, right? Like all the way down to having uncomfortable conversations, you know, things like that. Like if you're not able to have uncomfortable conversations, you're probably not able to work through difficult things. You're probably thrown off task by small obstructions. All those types of things come into question with those types of people that can't do those difficult things. Like doing hard things is super important. Even little stuff, like turn the shower to cold.
Yeah.
Like dumb stuff, right? Like get up when your alarm goes off. Like go to bed when you should. Don't drink on a Friday. Drink on Saturday, but don't drink on Friday one time to see what happens.
Right. Yeah.
Do something that you would otherwise not do. You go out every Friday night. Don't go out on a Friday night. Go out on a Saturday night. Watch what your body feels from just one time not doing the same thing over and over again. It's difficult for us to change. It's difficult for us to do hard things because naturally you're resistant as a human. But when you do them, it's so rewarding. And it keeps you like sharp. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you wanting more from situations than you otherwise would be complacent in.
Right. What feels like the hard things that are on the other side of this move right now that you can see as of now?
What are the hardest?
Yeah. Like what are the challenges that are waiting on the other side of it?
Well, obviously being away from something that I started on a sticky note is pretty difficult. So the idea of not knowing what's going on at work on a given day is kind of a weird thought process. You know, I'm comfortable with it because I've left town for weeks and all that type of stuff. It's no different than that, but I always knew when I'm coming there. So I think when I get comfortable with like the dates that I'll be in town there, I'll feel a lot easier about that whole kind of concept. Getting the whole store and office and vibe right is a big kind of uptake and challenge. And then getting on the road, just like, how do we get on the road? We got to get those tour dates scheduled. We got to figure all that out because it's not just, you know, you got to get registered for the convention. You got to figure out where you're going to take. You got to have uptick in inventory so you have it when you go on the road. We got to get the van set up. We got to get that wrapped. We got to register. We got to get the Airbnb, all those types of stuff for every date. Yeah. You know, we want to probably be 2 to 3 months out in terms of booking those and booking the places we stay, et cetera, so we can save some money on that. Also, conventions we don't want to miss out on, so we probably need to get like 6 months out on booking those too. So I think just kind of getting the snowball rolling of what the tour agenda is and what a normal work week month looks like for the girls down there. So
yeah,
and myself.
Yeah.
So what days am I going to go down? You know, initially my wife and I planned August and September and a little bit of October the other night. Like initially it's a little all over the place when I'm going to go down, but I think what I'm going to try to do is kind of go down on Tuesdays or Wednesdays and stay through the weekend. Now, if there's a convention, I might roll with the girls to that and then fly home from the convention. And if there's not, then I think my wife's going to come down if we don't have my son on like a Friday night, us spend the weekend there, and then us fly home on a Sunday, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the flow we're going to do.
Got you.
So I think kind of getting all the new ritualistic routines and plans set in stone, I think that's the hardest part because it's just so much uncertainty.
Yeah, for sure.
But those two and me and everything, we've been at it for a few years, us three, as the kind of the main hombres of this whole thing, and I think we'll all land on our feet pretty well. I have a ton of faith in both of them.
Yeah. What's it like as a business owner going from, writing it on a sticky note, doing the designs yourself, doing everything A to Z yourself, to being in a position now where you're like, putting Mac and Avery, who are savages, kind of at the steering wheel of this thing and being like, all right.
Well, there's not two people that I would probably trust more to do it, over the years of owning this company. There's been some people that I've worked with in it that have been absolutely incredible at what they've done for us, whether it was for a short period of time, a long period of time. And I would trust almost any one of them to still go do this for us. But these two have just been ride or dies. For Mac for like 4 years she's worked for me, 5 years she's modeled for us, or even 6 years. And then Avery's at like 2 full-time years and 3 of modeling for us. So they've been around for a long time. It's a weird kind of thought process to let go of it. But again, I'm not letting go of it. I'm going to be down there all the time. We're going to communicate a ton. There's a lot of shows we're going to be going to together. There's a lot of like communication that's still going on. So it's weird. It's a weird concept. I'm a control freak, so it's a little like unnerving, to not be there all the time. But I trust them so much. I trust them with my life, et cetera, anything really. So I'm super excited for the opportunity that they get. If I was 27 with no kid and single, and my boss came to me with this, I'd be fucking stoked.
Right.
So I think I'm more excited for them than they might be for themselves because they haven't been to shows yet and traveled quite as much. And I think they're going to have so much fun. So I think that part makes me feel even easier on it, honestly, because I know once they settle in and go to a few shows, they're going to be like, okay, this is cool.
Feel like you're hooking up your people.
Yeah. I feel like I am, like, in a way, I feel like, you know, this business is going to do better. I hope that means we get to pay them more. They're going to take home more with taxes and everything. Their cost of living is going down for them. So it's like there's some benefits for them. They're going to be pretty cool. Getting to travel on the expense of your company's pretty cool. I'm sure employees that you've taken places have appreciated that and been excited for that opportunity. So I think them getting to go to, you know, California several times a year and Texas several times a year and Vegas and have quite a bit of fun is a pretty exciting thing. And I'm stoked for them and I'm excited to be along for part of it.
Yeah, that's going to be
or as much as I can be.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
It's so interesting to me to like think about the fact that something that started in a place can like have its best growth potential moving. Cause it's
weird, right?
Yeah. It's such a big barrier. Cause it does, like when you were saying earlier that it feels like quitting, it feels like maybe not quitting, but some version of an ego death where it's like this thing that's like been identified as being like, you know, I'm the face of it and I'm this, that, and the other thing is now like leaving to get better. But also like if it also reflects very positively on Boise, and it reflects very positively on like the ability of something from here and a person from here to be able to do something that's like an international success. Yeah. At its like highest form.
Yeah. One thing I keep coming back to is like, if I think about Nike or you think about Under Armour or you think about Malbon, the golf company, right? Like where are they all the time? Well, when Nike started Blue Ribbon or like Blue Ribbon Racing or whatever that was called, Blue Ribbon.
Oh, is that what they were?
Yeah. What the fuck was it called? Blue Ribbon something is what it was called originally. He went to every damn track race across the country. College, I believe, was most of the ones he went to. Obviously, Oregon, every meet they're at. But they're in one of the biggest hubs of running. Like the Pacific Northwest has been a great running area for people before Nike was around.
Right.
Okay. Under Armour was born East Coast with the Ravens, with Ray Lewis, with Maryland football, plugged themselves immediately into some of the most intense workout people within the sport they wanted to be popular within. Malbon, the owner of it, he golfs every day, plays with people that golf every day. He's on every course, got people that are into streetwear, into golf, is in those communities. We're in Boise.
You got to go where it's
So we got to go to where these companies that do very well have gone to where their people are. That's what we want to do.
That's
so while we're so thankful for Boise and it's been such an incredible place and it's always going to be home, and we're so thankful that we get to take everybody on this journey because of social media, we need to be where the people are. We need to be where our people are.
Right.
Per se. And so we need to be in those communities.
I think one of the things that people don't understand too is like, while it is cool that your thing is like a hometown thing, at the end of the day, like if it doesn't work here, then that thing isn't going to exist at some point anyways.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like,
do you want it to exist or do you want it to be here?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that's really interesting for me to think about. And I haven't heard anybody put it that way, is like one of the easiest things that you can do to be successful is just like go to where your thing's baked in already.
Yeah. Like where is media? Where is mass growth of media production and content creation and popularity right now? If you had to name 5 states or 5 cities.
Yeah.
Even.
Content creation is definitely Austin. Like content and podcasting.
Yeah.
Austin, New York, LA,
Nashville.
Yeah.
Scottsdale.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it's like, it's these things that you and I are fixated on because you're a good person. You've committed to that community. You've helped high school kids get jobs and make money. You've helped college kids get on the road to success. You've helped adults become financially strong. You have helped businesses within the community, done great things. But at what cost of not being in a strength zone, should we call it, for your business, are you costing?
Right. I really like the idea of competition, like you said, too. Yeah. It's like having somebody else or having an outside pressure driving, like you have to get great at this.
Yeah, like how many conversations can you have a week to get better in billings?
Depends on who I'm around.
Yeah. Exactly what you just said. Depends on who I'm around. Right. Guarantee you're around conversations of growth in Austin or Nashville or California.
For sure.
Not even like, I don't know if we can get you in front of the right people. Like you're just going to run into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you just physically might run into one of them. Like at a coffee shop, you reach for a coffee, another dude reaches for it. You both might own a media company.
Right.
Does that happen in Billings? No.
Right.
So it's just shit like that where it's like, and that's a good thing. He probably has some contacts he doesn't want to work with that you might be better suited for something you do because he doesn't do funnels.
For sure. Some of the things that
right, like it's really exciting you're doing funnels and Billings because no one else is.
Right.
But what if there's people that have funnels that didn't work for them or are looking for a new funnel person because they've already had them for 20 years down there?
Mm-hmm. Very true.
And 7 people are going to teach you better things about it than you're finding on trying to figure it out yourself.
One of the other things that makes me think about is like if you were to leave the thing, I think I'm in a fortunate position where I can run that company pretty much full-time remote if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But also if I can put a good infrastructure in place in Billings, I can have somebody who's a gangster running that thing, go to somewhere like Austin or to wherever and be in that competitive environment and essentially be piping back all of the things that I'm learning and and have essentially like a, top 5 city in America competition level and then pipe that back into Billings, which if we're already winning, it's not necessarily benefiting us, but it's benefiting all of our clients that we get to work with. Cause it's like, this is the level of service that you get to deal with.
Different hubs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had like a pod hub in Austin and a more video hub in Nashville, and then your funnels and ads and analytics was all based out of Billings.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
So guy that we worked with, he's a good dude. They own Social Hustle. Have you heard of them?
Mm-mm.
They did everything that you guys do plus a little bit more. I think they're a little bit bigger agency than you guys are. I think they had like 15 or 20 employees based out of Idaho Falls.
Okay.
They went from, like 2 dudes hustling to, buying a bank and renovating it to be 30 offices to, I think they sold for over 100 mil.
Holy
to a big media company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Idaho Falls.
Yeah, but they did exactly what you just talked about. One of them moved to Scottsdale and started funneling clients to them in IF. And that's how they blew the fuck up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So exactly the game plan that you just talked about, that we just talked about earlier, same thing. And they kind of split it. They had a couple people in Scottsdale doing like sales, marketing pods, and then analytics, Google ads, meta ads, infrastructure, accounting, and the CEO, IF. Because he's LDS guy with 3 kids. So not leaving IF.
Got to stick around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
that's interesting, man.
Right?
For other business owners.
Like, I think it'd be cool if you spent, you should spend like 2 months you should spend 2 months in AZ when we have shows and do like pods, and then go spend like 2 months in like Austin and try to do the same thing when we go there for a show, and then go do it in Nashville too with something else. And so you can get like direct feedback on like, how much can I close in 60 days in a new community and funnel back to Montana? And you should fucking video that. That'd be sick. Like, watch me do 60 days from Scottsdale. Watch me do 60 days from Austin. Watch me do 60 days from Nashville and create like a series. That'd be fucking sick.
That would be crazy.
On like, what can I close in communities that do not represent where I am?
Yeah.
And if it works, then you now have like, okay, I'm going to pick one of these spots, stay there. And now I have a second hub to start just fucking funneling shit back there.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Not a bad idea.
Good at this.
I'll go in on an Airbnb with you. I
Perfect.
definitely can use it for a couple weeks.
I was going to say, we need some different spots.
I was going to say that would work though. If you did AZ, I could share the Airbnb with you for the weeks I'm down there, but
That'd be cool.
I'd be down.
Okay, sick. For any of the business owners on our way out of here who are thinking about making a big move like you are, you gave a little bit of a framework earlier.
Yeah.
What advice would you give emotionally, strategically, tactically, now that you're on the other side of it?
Yeah, I would say have the emotional conversations with people that are analytical, and then have the analytical conversations with your emotional self. So flip-flop the yin yang, right? Like, there's people that probably have your best interest in mind and always come to you with kind of like factual stuff that you need to do better, differently after you like reach out to them. Like, I'm having an emotional day, or I'm having a good day, or I'm having a whatever. And they're like, well, if you're having a good day, stay grounded. These are the principles that have helped me, right? And I'm having a bad day, well, these are the things you should do, right? Those people, talk to them about the emotional side of things, because they'll feed you back analytical answers. And then take your emotional self down the analytical road of the 4 pillars of, is this good for my team? is this good for the business? Is this just good for me? Or is it good for like the culture that we're trying to provide for? And I think you have like the conversation with those people, that the emotional with the analytical with your emotional, and then hit those 4 pillars. I kind of think it gives you kind of 3 really good feedbacks for whether or not it's a good decision.
Gotcha. Dude, that's huge.
I thought it was pretty good.
I love it. Yeah.
Kind of what we did. So I reached out to, it's not exactly what we did, but I reached out to a lot of people that had been super impactful for the brand over years, ex-employees, people that had modeled that no longer modeled for us, people that had currently modeled for us, because they always kind of grounded me in like, you know, the brand hasn't sold much lately. Like, what do you guys think we should put out? They're the type of people who are, hey, I'm going through this tough time. What do you think I should do? So I reached out to those people with the emotional side of things. They offered me back the analytical. And then I reached out to my emotional side of things and did the kind of 4-pillar thing and helped remove my kind of woe is me from it, and the Boise boy and that type of thing, and was able to make a good strategic decision based off of all the feedback I got while not involving a lot of like emotional decision making.
Right. God, that's so huge. I love it.
That's
yeah,
it's
going to be helpful
for us.
It'll be helpful for me for sure.
Good, bro.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, I can't wait to see what you guys do in Arizona.
Me too.
Catch TS on tour. Dates are coming in sometime in 25, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully before the end of the year, we'll announce the tour dates for 26.
Okay. Hell yeah, dude.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
All
I'm
right.
stoked.
Good stuff.
Thank you, bro.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be where your feet are. We love you.